wanted to thank Chelsea for getting me in this issue with so many other fine writers. I understand that Lisa Bigger encouraged her to take my piece, so Lisa. And Kelly Hagan, I wanted to do a special, you cannot hear me, you're not waving, saying you can't. Okay, can't hear me. How about if I stand like this? Is that better? Okay, stand like this. No. Closer. I need coaching. Okay. Good? Okay, I'm not going to move. Right. Hope I can see my piece. There was a lot of copy editing detail with this piece, as you'll see in the magazine, so special shout out to copy editors everywhere, but especially Kelly Hake. And thanks to all of you in the audience for taking the time to listen to our stories. This is the first 7 sections of the piece, Harry's Lament, in this issue. Spring 2013. 1. Harry says to himself, eyes to the ground during the walk and be astonished by what turns up. In the words of the yoga instructor, be authentically present. You don't have to imagine the detritus of a Manhattan sidewalk or a rutted farm road or a middle-class suburb of Bozeman, Montana or Peking, or the trail through the ocean to the bottom of the sea, where Poseidon is lounging happily during an extended sabbatical from ruling the waterways that cover 71% of this globe, since Zeus told him to stand down while the humans fucked it up. Shouldn't take but another 50 years, give or take a dozen or 100, before the oceans swallow the coasts, and then there'll be need of his services again to shepherd and orient the waterlogged people and their stories. Waterlogged to death, like my sister Celia, gone these 25 years after her schizophrenia-inspired leap from the George Washington Bridge. I was 12, half boy, half man, and it was my fault she jumped. This isn't a false belief, or the result of bad therapists, or a misunderstanding of her mental illness. I'd hated her and wished her dead. I haven't thought about Poseidon in years. Eyes to the ground. Never know what may turn up. 2, Harry says to his shrink. I take the same walk every day and gather the appealing stubs and remnants, the lost earrings, the frayed shoelaces. I pick up soft and hard, smooth and bumpy, slippery and rough. I put them in a sandwich-sized Ziploc. Label the Ziploc with a Sharpie, lay it in the flat file, make a list in my logbook. I know there's a genre of trash art, but I'm not making anything of what I find. I like to think I'm helping future anthropologists. My logbook will be a veritable treasure chest of our civilization's quiddity. I've covered most components of human life in Manhattan, circa 1988 through now. What I want to drop on the ground myself. The divorce papers I have to sign by week's end. The jagged half of a sew-through mother-of-pearl button. The ultramarine decorative butterfly from the Valentine's box of chocolates I bought half price February 15th. 3, Harry contemplates. Let's consider, if we are made of stardust, if we share the atoms of the cosmos, it stands to reason that once in a while, just by the laws of logic, of statistics, of the odds, that occasionally one individual will have in their bones, tendons, guts, sinews, brains, an unusual concentration of atoms culled most immediately from the clouds, or the moon, or the ocean, or the New York Public Library. Some unknowable circumstance will create that concentration, and lo and behold, that exponentially multiplying zygote will create a person attuned to the clouds, meteorologists, kite designers, tornado chasers, or the moon, astronomers, astronauts, poets, or the ocean, deep sea divers, Nessie advocates, treasure hunters, young suicides, or the New York Public Library, librarians, etymologists, security guards therein. And so, driven by inarticulate gut instinct, happenstance, chance, these people find themselves most at home in those places and professions, or they find themselves completely adrift, never at home, unsettled, and self-medicating. 4, Harry at work. He hits all the right notes with all the right inflections. He crescendos and diminuendos. At the end of the performance, he packs up, he nestles the rosin into the velvet-covered compartment built in under the case's supporting arch for the viola's neck, and he wanders out onto New York's streets where it's raining. A cool drizzle, a welcome opposite to the near-drought conditions thus far this year. Harry is loath to ride the subway, man-made steel within concrete, hurtling beside the murderous pressure of ocean water. He prefers to walk. An umbrella mushroomed above him to shield his instrument case. When he unlocks his fifth-floor apartment and closes the door behind him, a puddle of water will pool on the parquet of the entryway. Out of habit, his ex has been gone for weeks. He calls, "Hello, I'm home." 5, Harry walks. It's 20 blocks from his apartment to his childhood home, the house where his mother died a year ago. It's the hottest June on record, warm air blowing in from the Atlantic. No good for Poseidon's coral palaces, but a pleasant change from winter's bitter bite. 15 blocks in, the trendy fusion fancy restaurant that used to be a bake shop. The crispy organic fingerling potatoes with the exotic sauce are fried in the same vat as the yeast-risen, gluten-laced donuts were. Continuity and her twin, discontinuity on every corner. He pauses in front of the house, the one Celia grew up in too, the one his dad abandoned a few months after her death. Harry needs to clean it out and sell it. He has never left its undertow, never left town, never made a fresh start. 6, Harry at work. This year, Harry's orchestra has brought in Janet L., whose dark eyes lit and sparked on Harry before she heard about his reputation. Janet introduced herself, undaunted by the murmurings about him. After the obligatory viola section welcome dinner, she lingers with him, invites him to have a drink at her hotel's bar, a short 4 blocks from his apartment. He meets her in the morning, shows her his favorite coffee shop, formerly a barber shop. They share a second post-rehearsal dinner, a second morning coffee, plus lunch, a third dinner, and then a fourth, after which she walks home with him for a nightcap. She's unfazed by his collecting. 7, Harry says to his shrink, "Should I tell her about what happened at the bridge?" As is the shrink's habit, she turns the question back to him. "What do you think?" Thank you.